Shalom, shalom. Back at it again with another video presentation. Okay, I'm going to show you guys on how looks can be quite deceiving, and especially when you're dealing with what it is that we're currently dealing with and dealing with the scriptures and our heritage as far as us being Israelites. So what you have on the screen right now says, ask Dr. Kittles, how did I get European results? Dr. Rick Kittles. All right, so this is one of the co-founders of African Ancestry. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the video right now so you guys can check it out for yourself. It's only a 2-minute video presentation, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it right now.
Hi, I'm Rick Kittles, co-founder and scientific director of African Ancestry. You know, in my travels around the country, I meet a lot of people, and many of them have the same questions. And so I thought it would be a good opportunity now to answer questions that you may have. Many people wonder, when their results come back and one of these lineages is European, does it mean that they're 100% European? And the answer is no. Remember, African Americans are very mixed in terms of ethnicity and ancestry because of the experience of the transatlantic slave trade. And so immediately upon arrival here in North America, there was a lot of mixing going on. And so we see remnants of that in the DNA of African Americans. A lot of men, when they test their Y chromosomes, get a little nervous.
Right, so the Y chromosome, you already know the Y chromosome is dealing with your paternal lineage, okay? And it's passed on from father to son. So that's what he's going into right now, okay?
Because, in fact, 30% of the Y chromosomes that we test of African American men are of European ancestry.
You heard what he said? He said 30% of the African American Y chromosome or the Black American Y chromosome that they test are of European descent, man. And this is all due to either slavery or whatever relationship the black women must have had with a white man. So you have about 30%. And it's not just here in the United States, as well as Central, South America, and the Caribbean isle. You got about 30% of people who look quote unquote black, but who do have a paternal European or white ancestor on the paternal side of their family. And guess what? They're not Israelites. They're Europeans, man. They're white. They're Caucasians.
And so many of them get upset or they are concerned when the match comes back European. You know, I've heard many men say to me,
I mean, he did went on to say that just because you have a paternal European ancestry, it does not mean that you're 100% European. Well, when you study the scriptures, your nationality is determined by the seed of your father. So you are what your father is. It doesn't matter about your phenotype or your pheno structure or how you look like. The fact of the matter is simply this. If your father is a European or your forefather, you have a European forefather or Y DNA genetic marker, and dealing with the Europeans, you are European. You are 100% European. It doesn't matter what the nationality of the mother is at the end of the day. I just wanted to point this out.
well, I'm very dark skinned or I'm African. You can just look and see. But you told me that I'm European. What we told you was that your Y chromosome goes back to Europe, meaning that there was a European male in your family lineage. And that was part of what we see on your Y chromosome test. It doesn't mean that you're European. It just means that.
Yes, it means that you're European. It's that simple. Your lineage, your nationality, you can go ahead and read it for yourself all throughout the scriptures. All right. You can also read Genesis the 5th chapter, Genesis the 10th chapter, dealing with the tables of the nations. You can also go ahead and read First Chronicles, dealing with the lineage of Israel. The first going all the way down to either the 9th or the 10th chapter. You can also read First Chronicles, the 23rd chapter, and dealing with Moses lineage. You can also read the book of Matthews, I believe the first chapter, Luke the second chapter. You can also read the book of Job 8 and 8, the book of Numbers 1 and 18, all throughout the scripture. When you read about lineages, and as far as nationalities is concerned, it's always predicated upon who the seed of your father. It's not determined by the father or the mother, because if you want to base that analysis upon the father and the mother, now you're going to start dealing with autosomes. Even if you go back to about 20 generations and you want to trace your lineage based upon the father and the mother at the same time, you're going to have well over 20 million grandparents. And you're going to find out that you're also going to be linked to every single group of people around the world. So the autosome on the other end does not determine your lineage. It's predicated upon the Y, which is the paternal lineage. So yes, if you look like a black person, for all these blackity black Israelites out there who think you gotta look a certain way, you gotta have dark skin, you gotta have a big lips, a big nose with a woolly texture hair in order for you to be an Israelite, that's a lie. Looks can be quite deceiving. You could look like a black person, but your paternal lineage on the other end will be traced back to what the European. This is why a lot of Israelites in general don't want to take DNAs. They don't want to deal with DNAs because you're going to find out that a lot of people who call themselves Israelites, if they take a DNA, they're going to find out that they're Gentiles. I mean, I took my DNA with 23andme.com, and my paternal lineage is E1B1A. I'm an Israelite. See?
That lineage went back to Europe. And if we were to test 12, 15, 16 lineages, they'll go in many different places because we're a very mixed population. When I perform ancestry testing on...
And that's true, because about 65% of black men throughout North Central South America do carry the E1B1A haplogroup. They are Israelites. But you also have some of them, the 30% of them carry a European Y-DNA haplogroup. And you also have about 5% who carry, about 5% they either carry the E1B1B European haplogroup, or they might carry some type of A haplogroup, whether it's A00 or A1F.
Mean that you're European. It just means that that lineage went back to Europe. And if we were to test 12, 15, 16 lineages, they'll go in many different places because we're a very mixed population. When I perform ancestry testing on myself, what I found was 90% West African ancestry.
You heard that? He performed a test on himself and he said he had about 90% quote unquote West African ancestry.
And 9 to 10% European ancestry.
9 to 10% European ancestry. Now watch this.
So that reflects that 10% of my genome that's of European ancestry. And in fact, a big chunk of that 10% is the Y chromosome, because I'm one of those 30% of black men who have a European Y chromosome. So having a match.
You heard what he said? That little 9 to 10% of European is on his paternal side of the family. That's his Y chromosome. So the owner or the co-founder of African Ancestry, Rick Kittles, he's not an Israelite. He's not a black man. He's a white man. He's not our people.
That goes back to Europe. Doesn't mean that you have no African ancestry.
Now, if he would have came across any type of Israelite camps out there in the streets, they would automatically assume and say that he was an Israelite. But being the fact that he took his Y-DNA test, he found out that he's a European. He found out that he's a European on his paternal side of the family. So this is what I was saying, or have been saying for the longest, that looks can be quite deceiving. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people who call themselves Israelites, they don't want to take any DNA test. I don't care from whatever school of thought you're coming from. I don't care if you're coming from the One West. camp perspective point of view. I don't care if you're coming from a quote unquote Old Testament, a Talmudic, Kabbalist, Israelites, or New Testament Israelites. I don't care. They don't want to take a DNA test, a Y DNA test. And the reason for that is simply because a lot of them are afraid that that their lineage might be of European origin. You see? So I'm going to end this video presentation right now. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.